Okay, for our third example, this is where I want to start doing a little bit of shortcutting in how much I'm writing. It's not that it's bad with how much I'm writing, it's just a lot. And I see a shorter technique. And so I want to be able to try it out and see if it can make my life a little bit easier. Alright, so let's look at this equation. Yeah. So we have x plus 2 over 3x minus 1 minus 1 over x, and that's going to be equal to 3x minus 3 over 3x minus x. Now, this denominator right here can't be factored any further. So this is a binomial factor. I'm going to need to leave it alone. Can't do anything with the x, but I do need to check this binomial over here, because this binomial does have an x in common. And again, I can see that this larger denominator is the product of the other two. And so that's going to be my LCD. X times 3x minus 1. All right, so x is not allowed to be 0 or 1/3. And so what I'd like to do is, instead of rewriting this fraction or this equation all over again and then multiplying everything by this denominator, I'd like to shortcut it a bit. I know I'm going to be multiplying by x and a 3x minus 1. And if you remembered from the last example, this 3x minus 1 is going to cancel that factor. And so what's going to be left is I'm going to be multiplying x times the numerator. And so that's what I'm going to actually write down. I'm going to multiply this x times the numerator that's currently there. Minus, this numerator is going to stay there, but again, remember that if I were to multiply by both of those terms, the whole point is that this x cancels with this x, and I'm left with the other factor of 3x minus 1. Okay. And again, I'm going to leave this 3x minus 3 alone. The x would cancel, the 3x minus 1 would cancel, and I don't have any factors left to actually distribute in the numerator. So the numerator is all that's going to remain in my work. Just like up here in this part where I had two factors and they both canceled with the LCD. I was just left with only the numerator. And so what this is doing is this is shortcutting how much I have to write. Because what I'm doing is I'm writing down the numerator times the factor that's left when I fraction bust. And what that allows me to do is it allows me to write less on my paper because I'm kind of mentally fraction busting. And so now I'm going to distribute. And again, I do have a quadratic. So I'm going to move all of my terms to the other side. And combine all my like terms. So I have an x squared. All of these right here are all like terms. And so that's a minus 6 plus 2, which is a minus 4x, plus 4 equals 0. Again, another relatively easy one to factor. So x minus 2 times x minus 2. And since this is a duplicate, a multiple, I only need to solve it once. There's no purpose to writing 2 and 2. It's only got one answer. And so when I check this against my extraneous solutions, that works. And so this is a bit of a shortcut technique in terms of how your denominators, when you fraction bust, are going to cancel with parts or all of the LCD. What it's nice to do is it's nice to just write down these factors that were left from the LCD times the current numerators instead of having to write that down every single time. If you look at the other examples that we've done, writing the same LCD down over and over again gets a little bit sloppy.